ॐ दक्षिणास्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशव वामन कृष्ण पाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुराः सुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। From the 7th chapter onwards, Lord Krishna has been talking about Ishvara Swarupam to Arjuna. And in the 9th chapter, Lord Krishna made it absolutely clear to Arjuna that, Arjuna, if you want to know me tattvataha, if you want to meet the truth or my real Swarupam, the Paramarthika Satyam or my Swarupam as it is, Tattvataya, then you'll have to learn to see me as the entire manifest universe. So Vishwa Rupa Bhakti, Virat Rupa Bhakti or Aneka Rupa Ishvara Bhakti is a very important step towards understanding the Nirguna Swarupam of Ishvara as Brahman. And now 10th chapter, what Lord Krishna did was that he enumerated his glories. He enumerated some of the striking and glorious things in this universe so that Arjuna could use them as an alambanam. No doubt, Krishna has been trying to tell Arjuna all the time that the whole universe is my manifestation. And you have to see me in each and everything in this universe. But then Arjuna finds it difficult to see the whole Jagat that he is in to be Ishvara's manifestation. Jagat eva, that is Sarvam Brahmamayam Jagat, Sarvam Ishvaramayam Jagat iti. To understand this fact, it's difficult for Arjuna. So Arjuna asked Krishna, see, initially you tried to tell me some of those extraordinary glories of yours, so that whenever I see them, I'm reminded of you. And gradually, over a period of time, I will learn to see you as each and everything in this manifestation. So what happened? Lord Krishna enumerated randomly many of his glories. There's not an order in the extraordinary, striking things that he enumerates in this universe. Randomly, he picks up so many things and says, so when you see this, when you experience this, think that it is me. Think of me, think of me. So it is basically initially as an alambanam to see Ishvara in the most exalted things in the universe. and then train our minds to see that whatever it is, whether it's exalted or not so exalted, good or not so good, anything and everything is nothing but the manifestation of Ishvara. Now, this was heard by Arjuna up till the end of the 10th chapter. And Arjuna has a deep desire to see this for himself. See, we should understand one thing, that there is Shrutam and there is Drishtam. Shrutam is what is heard, and Drishtam is what is seen. And naturally, Drishtam is more powerful, more impactful than what is Shrutam. So, though Arjuna has been listening to Lord Krishna continuously throughout, and especially from the 7th chapter, when Ishvara Swarupam has been explained by Lord Krishna so beautifully, it is all Shrutam, heard for Arjuna. Now, he wants to experience the same thing, that which has been told, that which has been heard. He says, Te Swarupam Aishwaram Drashtum Ichhami. I want to see you. Drashtum Ichhami. I have a desire to see you, whatever you have been telling me. All your glories, Hey Purushottama. I want to see all of them. And then what does Lord Krishna do? He obliges Arjuna by giving Arjuna the capacity to see whatever he's seeing as the manifestation of Krishna. He reveals his cosmic form. Now, one thing we have to understand is Arjuna really seeing whatever he's going to see now? Whatever was described so far up till 14th verses. We completed the 14th verse last time. So does Arjuna really see the way he's going to now express whatever he's seeing, or is it merely symbolic? Or is it only a poetic description of this picture by Vyasa Maharishi? It may be anything. It doesn't matter. Whether Arjuna really saw that or not, whether Sanjaya also really saw that and reported it to Dhritarashtra or not, that is not important. What we have to see is, in one place, at one time, in one moment, in one place, at one point, Lord Krishna is displaying his Vishwarupam. And up till the 14th verse, we saw that Sanjaya has been reporting whatever has been happening, that he's able to see, he's able to hear what Arjuna is speaking, what Krishna is speaking, and at the same time, what are Arjuna's feelings? Even that Sanjaya is able to understand, and he's reporting it to Dhritarashtra. Now, from the 15th verse onwards of this 11th chapter, Arjuna himself starts expressing his feelings. Now we can say that Arjuna has the first reaction, or the first kind of a response to this Vishwarupa Darshanam for Arjuna is that of wonder and awe. Wonder and awe. That is what he's seeing. Vismaya. What is the meaning of Vismaya? A surprise, something that is awe-inspiring, that by which he is wonderstruck. That wonder is called as Vismaya. When do any of us get that Vismaya, that feeling of Vismaya, that Vismaya Bhava? When we see something very large, very expansive, very big, it gives us a feeling of Vismaya. See, we have seen so many trees, but then when we enter into a large forest and see large number of trees, it evokes in us a Vismaya Bhava. We have seen rivers, we have seen small waterfalls, but when we go and see a huge waterfall, the very vastness of it, the very size of it, induces a sense of Vismaya in us. This is what is called as wonder or awe. And what is happening here is, though Arjuna has understood, Shrutam, he has understood that Bhagavan, Krishna here representing Ishvara. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is Ishvara. Ishvara is represented Brahman, and Ishvara is represented by Krishna here in Bhagavad Gita. Now, whatever he is going to see now, he's going to see the vastness of everything. Wherever he sees Lord Krishna. He sees the body of Lord Krishna. And he sees the entire universe at one point. The very vastness of that vision, the very size of that vision, is what is going to give him that sense of awe. This awe-inspiring scene that he sees, he's going to describe. So the first response of Arjuna is that of Vismaya. And up till the 22nd verse, from the 15th verse, he expresses his wonderment and the awe that he's experiencing when he sees this Vishwarupa Ishvara Darshana. So we'll start with the verse 15th. From 15th verse onwards, we'll find that there is a change in the chandas. From the Anushtup chandas now, Vyasacharya writes this, compiles this in Trishtup chandas. Trishtup chandas means 4 lines of 11 matras each. Why is it so? Whenever in Bhagavad Gita, Vyasacharya wants to say something which is very important, he changes the meter. When the meter is changed, suddenly we become very attentive. Oh, the meter has changed, so there must be something. So whenever there is a change from Anushtup to Trishtup Chandas, it means that there is something which is very important, which is going to be actually depicted now. So let's go to the 15th verse, which is in the Trishtup Chanda. पश्यामि देवांस्तव देवदेहे सर्वांस्तथा भूतविशेषसङ्घान् ब्रह्माणमीशं कमलासनस्थं ऋषींश्च सर्वानुरगांश्च दिव्यान्. So he says, Hey Krishna, Pashyami Tava Dehe. Hey Krishna, in your body, I see your body everywhere. It is literally expanded to the whole thing. I don't see any space anywhere. Everything is your body. And what do I see? I see all the jivas of all the 14 lokas. I see the devas. I see the various bhuta vishesha sanghan, different kinds of beings, different varieties of living beings I'm seeing. In other words, it means that I'm seeing all the 14 lokas in you. In this very bhuloka itself, there are any number of jivas of varying sizes and shapes and forms. But then so many of them, devas, siddhas, he says, continues further. So all kinds of exalted jivas I see. All these jivas in the bhuloka I see. So in all the 14 lokas, all those kinds of varieties of forms, exalted ones and not so exalted ones, I see in your one body. Pashyami Devan, I see all the devas, Sarvan, all of them, Bhuta Vishesha Sanghan Sarvan Api, I am seeing where Tava Dehe. And then specifically he says, Brahmanam Isham Kamalasanastham. I also see Lord Brahma Prajapati, who's the very progenitor of this entire universe of all the 14 lokas. And how do I see him? This creator, Prajapati, literally seated on the lotus. This is a very symbolic representation of Brahma. And how it is represented, generally it is represented that Lord Vishnu is the Samashti Karana Shariram and the lotus represents the Samashti Sukshma Shariram. Now, I'm not going to describe all these words because we have already dealt with these things. And who is this Prajapati Brahma? Prajapati Brahma is actually the Chidabhasa, that consciousness which is reflected in a particular body mind sense complex, who becomes actually the Virat or the entire manifest universe. That is the symbolism of I am seeing this creator Brahma seated on Kamalam. Then, but how does Acharya Shankara express this thing in the Gita Bhashya? He says, Kamalasanastham Prithvi Padma Madhye Meru Karnika Sanastham Ityartaha. That's okay. But then that's how we explain. But the symbolism is that of the Samashti Karana Shariram, Samashti Sukshma Shariram, and the Chidabhasa reflected in the Samashti Sukshma Shariram. Then he says, Aneka Bahudara Vaktra Netram Pashyami Tva Sarvatonantarupam Nantam na Madhyam na Punastavadim Pashyami Vishveshwara Vishwarupa. Hey Vishveshwara, Hey Krishna, Hey Bhagavan, I see you with aneka bahu, aneka udaram, aneka netram pashyami. Does it mean that the body of Lord Krishna has many stomachs and many bahus and many eyes? No. What this means actually is that all the heads, all the arms, bahus, and all the udaras, that means all the bodies, the entire sthula shariras of all the jivas in all the 14 lokas, I see in you. Vishvato Mukhamritva Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasrakshi Sahasrapat. We see that in Purusha Suktam. That means the one who has not the one who has 1,000 eyes. All the eyes are in Bhagavan, in Ishvara. The one who has all the eyes, all the heads. That means what? All the sthula shariras, all the sukshma shariras are in whom that particular Bhagavan, Vishveshwara, Vishwarupa, you are, I see them. Varieties of eyes, varieties of bahus and netras. Sarvato Ananta Rupam. And you are that Ananta Rupa. I cannot see where you start and where you end. Na antam na madhyam na punaha tva adi. There is no adi. I cannot make out where you begin. Where is the middle of you? Where is the end of you? I cannot see any directions. All the 10 directions, that is the 4 primary directions and the other 4 secondary directions, up and down, everywhere I see only you, your body, and all the 14 lokas with all the bodies, thula shariras, are in you. That is what I am seeing. I am not able to see where you start and where you end. This is the cosmic form, and this is Vismaya. My God, I have seen you, Krishna, as my friend, as a Sakha, as my Sarathi. Now, as my Guru, I am seeing you. But then this is something which is absolutely wonderful, because I don't know where you start and where you end at all. Kincha, what else am I seeing in you? Kiritinam Gadinam, Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrinancha, Tejo Rashim Sarvato Deeptimantam, Pashyami Tvam Durniriksham Samantat, Deeptanalarkadhyutim Aprameyam. So now, this was the 17th verse we did. So what does he say now? I see all the crowns of all the kings in you. That means all the heads wearing crowns. All the kings are there in your body. Chakrinam cha. I am seeing all the people who are holding all kinds of ayudhas in you. Tejo Rashim Sarvato Deeptimantam. You are nothing but an effulgent mass of light. There is so much of effulgent, sarvato deeptimantam. Everywhere I see in you, you're just shining. And there is just this tejas in you, which is shining all over, everywhere. And I see all the kings in you. All those people who are wielding all kinds of shastras and astras are in you. Pashyami tvam durniriksham samantad. It is so difficult for anybody to see this kind of a vision, and I am seeing you, which is very difficult for me to understand what is it that I am seeing here. At the same time, he says, Deepta Anala Arka Dyutim Aprameyam. Deepta Analam. It's almost like a conflagration of fire, that kind of a deepti, that kind of a shine, that kind of light and tejas I'm seeing you, which is incomparable. Aprameyam means incomparable, this light, brightness, and tejas of all the sources of light everywhere. I'm really seeing you in them, in you, in your one body. And I'm not able to see any kind of beginning or end to this. Wherever I see, it is a Deepta Anala Arka, almost like the sunlight, like all the light of all the suns, all the light of Agni. I'm seeing that brightness and that tejas in you. And in the 18th verse, in the next verse, he says that after seeing you this, after seeing you in this form, I can now understand, hey Krishna, why you are being called as Sarveshwara, Brahman, Paramam, the one to be known through the Vedas. Now I understand what it means. So, Tvamaksharam Paramam Veditavyam, Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam, Tvamavyaya Shashvata Dharma Gopta, Sanatanastvam Purusho Mato Me. So I'm seeing all this yoga shakti of yours, this kind of, that's what uh, Bhagwan Shankaracharya says, Itayevate yoga shakti darshanat. I'm assuming, I'm doing an anumana, seeing this kind of your appearance and your shakti, your aishwaram, your swarupam. Looking at this, I can definitely now understand what you said, that aham paramam nidhanam, aham bijam avyayam, jagat karanam aham asmi iti. You have been explaining to me from the 7th chapter onwards. And now, hey Bhagwan, I can understand. I can now see what you meant by that after looking at your glorious picture here. So, you are the Aksharam Brahma. He says, he has not yet understood that, because this knowledge that, the knowledge of Brahman as Ishvara's Nirguna Swarupam is nothing but Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma iti, Arjuna has not yet understood. But then, looking at that kind of an appearance of the cosmic form of Ishvara, he says, Anuminomi. By Anumana, I can understand what you explained to me in the last few chapters. Hey Krishna, Tvam Aksharam Paramam Veditavyam. You are that Param Brahma. That is the only thing which is to be known. Nyayam. You are the one to be known. You are the Nyaya Vastuhu. You are the most exalted Paramam. There is nothing beyond that. You are that Purusha which is Parakashta Paragatihi, as told in the Katopanishad. So, Tvam Aksharam Paramam. You are the highest. You are that Brahman which is to be known. Veditavyam, because this is what your Shakti is, and that which is really your Tattvam. Now I can understand that Tattvam is nothing but Parabrahma Swarupa Tattvam Veditavyam Tvam Asya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. That means you are the very adhishtanam, the very support, the basis. Nidhanam means what? The very support, the basis, the adhishtanam, the ultimate adhishtanam, the ultimate support of this entire universe. Vishwasya param nidhanam. There's no other support. You are the ultimate support, the supportless support. Everything is in you, everything arises in you, everything exists in you, and everything resolves in you. But at the same time, you are who? Anadim Ajam, he said. Krishna said, isn't it? I am the Anadi, I am Ajam, and I am Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. I am that supportless support. I am the causeless cause of the entire universe. Do you remember these verses? Matsthani sarva bhutani. Then immediately what did he say? Nacha matsthani sarva bhutani. So I am the very adhishtanam of this entire jagat. My apara prakriti Maya projects this entire universe in me, and this entire jagat exists in me, and ultimately it resolves in me. In spite of that, I am not affected by the projected jagat. I remain asangaha. Therefore, who am I? I am that Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. Tvam Avyayaha Shashvata Dharma Gopta. You are who? Avyayaha, inexhaustible. You are the one who is inexhaustible, the one who is avyaya, the one who does not have, doesn't perish, imperishable, avyayam, and shashvata dharma gopta. What is the meaning of that? You are the sthiti karanam in the form of various cosmic laws. Dharma here means cosmic laws. All the laws of the cosmos, for which Many of the devatas, the Adhidaivam, which we saw in the 8th chapter, is responsible as functionaries to maintain the laws of this entire cosmos. Through these laws, Shashvata Dharma Gopta. That means you are constantly, imperishably supporting this entire universe, maintaining the sthiti of this universe, the sthiti of this creation you are maintaining by being the very Ishvara of all the laws, all the cosmic laws. And Sanatanahatvam Purushaha Matome. And who are you? You are the Sanatanam, the one who is ever present. Ajo, Nitya, Shashvatoyam Puranaha. All the time there. Sanatanam. Kutastha. Never changing. I'm all the time there. You are that Sanatanaha Purusha Iti. Now I can understand. By Anumana, now I can understand. Though I have not really understood it properly, but looking at your picture, your Vishwarupa, I have no doubts that whatever Param Brahma you were talking about as yourself, that has to be you only. Then he says, Anadi Madhyantam Ananta Viryam Ananta Bahum Shashi Surya Netram Pashyami Tvam Deepta Hutasha Vaktram Swatejasa Vishwamidam Tapantam. Now, suddenly Arjuna starts observing that without any Adi, Anta, and Madhya, we already saw that he's seeing the entire cosmos, whatever he can see, is nothing but that which is occupied and that which is nothing but the very body of Bhagavan Ishvara. And he says, Ananta Bahum, we already saw that various Bahus, all the Bahus of all the Jivas, all the Sthula Shariras are nothing but manifesting in you. Shashi Surya Netram, you have the sun and the moon as your very eyes. Now, what is the significance of it? The sun and the moon are actually the objects of effulgence. Okay, they are the ones which the objects of light which light up everything. And that is why, if you remember, if you go to Tattva Bodha, if you have gone back to Tattva Bodha, Surya Bhagavan is the Adhishtana Devata for the Chakshurindriyam in all the jivas. So here he says that symbolically, what are your eyes? As that Virat Rupa, your eyes are sun and the moon. The Jyoti of the sun and moon is the Jyoti in your light, which lights up everything, which lights up the whole universe. Symbolically, therefore, Surya Bhagavan happens to be that which lights up our eyes, Drishti Rupena, Chakshurindriya Rupena, and the moon, which is the Adhishtana Devata for the mind. The mind lights up whatever the Indriyas give as the feedback on seeing the entire Jagat. Therefore, he says, Shashi Surya Netram. Then, Pashyami Tvam Deepta Hutasha Vaktram. Your mouth, hey Krishna, I am seeing that it is glowing with fire. It is glowing with fire. What is the significance of this? One thing is, fire swallows everything. Correct? Hutasha. Whatever is given, huta, whatever is offered to the fire, ashnati, iti hutasha. So this fire, whatever is given, it swallows. Mouth swallows whatever we put in that. Secondly, the second significance, who is the Adhishtana Devata for Vakindriya? It is Agni. Agni is the Adhishtana Devata or for Vak Indriya. Therefore, both these symbolisms we have to understand here. When Krishna's mouth is shown to be absolutely glowing with Agni, so it is Hutasha Vaktram. It is just like a well conflagrated fire. Your mouth is shining with this fire. Swatejasa Vishwamidam Tapantam. And this tejas of your eyes being Shashi Suryas and your mouth actually having such a huge conflagration of fire, the entire world is warmed up, can feel the very heat of this Agni. Now, Arjuna is now getting a little scared actually by looking at this mouth, because that kind of a mouth where this kind of a real big conflagration of fire which is ready to swallow anything that is put in that, his attention is drawn to that. From the verses now onwards, most of the time Arjuna is all the time concentrating on this Deepta Huta Hutasha Vaktram. Deepta Hutasha Vaktram he's concentrating on. That is really drawing his attention, where all the next action that is to come, that is going to come here. So in the next verse, in the 20th verse, he says, Dhyava prithivyoridamantaram hi vyaptam tvayekena dishascha sarvaha दृष्टाद्भुतं रूपमुग्रं तवेदं लोकत्रयं प्रव्यथितं महात्मन्. हे महात्मन, हे महात्मा, हे लॉर्ड कृष्णा, ध्यावा पृथिव्योम idam antaram hi vyaptam. Not only this earth here, this bhumi prithvi, and dhyuloka or the swargaloka, and in between what is there, the bhuvarloka also, antaram hi vyaptam. Between the earth and the higher lokas, whatever antaram is there, whatever space is there, which we call as bhuvarloka, the whole of that is being seen as your body. You are occupying that whole place, vyaptam, that you are absolutely spreading across this entire interval between the bhumi and the dhyuloka. And then tvaya ekena dishascha sarvaha, all the directions are nothing but maya tatamidam sarvam, he said in the 9th chapter, isn't it? Maya tatamidam sarvam, I'm all pervading. I pervade every direction. I pervade all the lokas. I pervade everything that is there, whether it is bhuloka, bhuvarloka, suvarloka, all the directions. Okay, dishascha sarvaha, all the 10 directions are nothing but pervaded by you. You are seen everywhere. Then drishta adbhutam rupam ugram tavedam. But Krishna, suddenly I am finding that your rupa is an ugra rupa. Especially when I see your mouth, which is nothing but shining and glowing with that kind of a fire there in your mouth. I am really finding that you are showing the ugra rupam. See, we have to understand one thing, that in Vishwarupa, we have to be willing to face or willing to see everything as Ishvara. The good, the bad, beautiful, ugly, life, death. There is no question of one to the exclusion of the other. That is Vishwarupa. In the 10th chapter, Bhagavan took care to only enumerate his exalted, stunning things, good things only. But here, when we come to the Vishwarupa, when we see the entire universe as a manifestation of Ishvara, where is the question of being choosy here? There's no question of trying to say that I want to see only your Saumya Rupa. No, we have to be willing and we have to be prepared to see the Ugra Rupa of Bhagavan also. Everything that is not really that conducive to me, and that which is really making me happy, that which is making me sad, everything is involved here. So when we come to Vishwarupa Darshanam as Vishwarupa Bhaktas, that is why it is said that we should have the preparation of mind to accept Ishvara, not simply as the Kalyana Guna Sagara. Not only that, we have to see that, even those things which are ghora, which are ugra, which are not so nice, are also a part of Vishwarupa Ishvara. And that is the reason why Krishna had to give this Divya Chakshu, or the preparation of the mind, to Arjuna to see this in a holistic way, in a total way. We can't say that we'll have only one side of a coin. We will have to have both the sides of the coin. Both the pairs of opposites we see in this Vyavaharika Prapancha, we will see in the Vishwarupa. So slowly now Arjuna has started seeing the Ugra Rupa also of Ishvara, and he's getting a little nervous about it. So he says, Drishta Adbhutam Rupam Ugram Tava Idam Lokatrayam Pravyathitam Mahatman. All the three lokas are getting nervous. People in all the three lokas are really afraid of this Ugra Rupam of yours. Then next 21st verse. Ami hitva sura sangha vishanti kechid bhita pranjalayo grinanti swasti tyuktva maharshi siddha sanghaha suvanti tvam stuti bhi pushkalabhihi. So here he says, I find that the devas are approaching you with their folded hands, fearful of your ugra nature. And the rishis are approaching you and they are asking you, Swastihi, Swastihi, may you be auspicious to us. May you be auspicious to us. In this way, the rishis are stuvanti. They are doing your stuti. The devas are there standing with their hands folded. You can see that in any of our pictures of Vishwarupa Darshana, where the rishis are praying. Pranjalayaha, that means Pranjalayo Grinanti. Pranjalayo Grinanti means they're standing with their folded hands out of fear. Hey God, hey Bhagwan, protect us. Swasti, Swasti, Swasti Rastu. Let there be, auspiciousness to us. Hey Bhagwan, don't show your Ugra Rupa. May you please show us may you be auspicious to us. But Bhagwan cannot be partial in this. Bhagwan cannot say, I will only show you my good this one. In that case, then I'm not yet prepared to see Bhagavan with all the pairs of opposites in the Vyavaharika Prapancha. That's why we say in Rudram, in Rudram, that is Rudra Prashna, there also, Rudra is prayed to. Hey Rudra, don't show me your very, very, Ugra Rupa. Don't show me your Rudra Rupa. You show me your Saumya Rupa. Keep all your Ayudhas away and show me your Saumya Rupa. So here, when Vishwarupam of Bhagavan is talked about here, it is very similar to what we chant in Rudra Prashna. Rudra is actually expressed as each and everything. And in Rudram, we find that even, the negative things or the Ugra Rupa is much more clearly expressed than what here is expressed by Krishna. You see Lalita Sahasranamam, you see any Sahasranama, you see Rudra, you study Rudra, you chant any of these things, you'll find that all of them are depiction of nothing but Vishwarupa Darshana. And in Vishwarupa Darshana, we have to be willing to see the Ugra aspect of Bhagavan also. Then in the next verse, in the 22nd verse, he says, Rudraditya vasavo ye cha sadhyaha vishveshvinau marutaschoshmapascha gandharva yaksha surasiddha sanghaha vikshante tva vismitaschaiva sarve. Now all the functionaries of the universal laws, cosmic laws, we divide them into what? That was what was called as Adhidaivam in the 8th chapter. Who are they? Ekadasha Rudras, Dwadasha Adityas, Ashtavasus, all the Sadhyas, a type of exalted beings like Devas are called Sadhyas. Vishve Devas, Vishve means Vishve Devas, again functionaries. Ashvinau, the Ashwini Devatas. Marutaha, Marutascha, Maruta means the 49 Marutganas. And Ushmapaha. Who are Ushmapaha? The last word in the second line. Marutascha, Ushmapascha. Ushmapaha are the Pitru Devatas. Pitruganas, Pitru Devatas are called Ushmapascha. So he's saying, I can see all these people all together standing there with their folded hands. Some are in reverential attitude towards you. Some are praising you. Some are nervous and some are scared, bhitaha, looking at you. But I see all these functionaries. The entire Adhidaivam is in you. Gandharva, Yaksha, Asura, Siddha Sangaha, all the Gandharvas, Yakshas, Asuras, Siddhas, all of them, all the groups of them, all groups of living beings. What are they doing? Vikshantetva Vismitaschaiva Sarve. They're all in awe. They're looking at you wonderstruck. Then he says in the next verse, these are all descriptive basically. There's nothing much to explain here. This is a description here with the 22nd verse. Slowly Arjuna's Vismaya or Ascharya is converted into fear, because suddenly he now starts concentrating on only the Ugra Rupa of Vishwarupa Darshanam. So up till the 22nd verse, till what we saw now, he's showing his Vismaya, Ascharya. Oh my God, I can see this, I can see that. You are this, you are that. That Ascharya he is expressing. But from now onward, slowly now, he starts understanding that, there's something more than just a Kalyana Guna Rupa Ishvara. There's something more than that. And all the time now, Arjuna's attention is revolving, around the mouth of the Vishwarupa. So then what is the fear? How does he explain his fear? So he says here, Rupam Mahatte Bahuvaktra Netram Mahabaho Bahubahur Mahabaho Bahubahurupadam Bahudaram Bahudanshrakaralam Drishtva Lokaha Pravyatitastataham. So he says, Rupam Mahatte. This Mahat Rupam, your Rupam, Bahuvaktra Netram, Mahabaho, Bahuvaktra, many, mouths, many faces, Bahu Netram, Bahubahu Urupadam, Bahubahu, many bahus, urus, all the urus. Uru means what? The thighs, the legs, padam, the legs. All of them are what? Nothing but I can see all these in you. Bahu udaram. Already previously he had told that. I see all the stomachs belonging to all the jivas in you. But at the same time, what is distracting me and what is really making me fearful is Bahudanshtra Karalam Drishtva. Bahudanshtra Karalam. I see your teeth which are like big canines, sharp teeth, Danshtra Karalam. They are very, very scary. I am scared to look at your Danshtra Karalam Drishtva Lokaha Pravyatitaha Tatha Aham. All the lokas, all the jivas in all the 14 lokas are getting scared of looking at your sharp teeth which are being seen even through that mouth which is nothing but emitting fire. And I'm also really getting scared of this, hey Krishna. Then he says, Nabhasparsham deeptamaneka varnam Vyatananam deepta vishalanetram Drishtva hitvam pravyathitantaratma Dhritim na vindami shamancha Vishnu. Hey Vishnu, hey Bhagwan, hey Narayana. He's addressing now Bhagwan Vishwarupam as Hey Vishnu. Nabhasparsham deeptam anekavarnam. I see all kinds of colors in this bright tejas that is literally touching the skies. Nabhasparsham deeptam anekavarnam vyatta ananam. But what is distracting me is your open mouth, widely open mouth. Vyatta ananam, deepta vishala netram. I can only see fire everywhere. Your eyes are literally emitting fire. Your mouth is open, showing all these very, very sharp canines and teeth, karalat, that which is so difficult to see. Dangerous looking teeth you are showing. And at the same time, vishala netram, those which are emitting the the jyoti of who Surya and Shashi. And drishtva hitam pravyathitantaratma. I am really deep inside. Hey Krishna, I asked you for Vishwarupa Darshanam. Yes, I only asked you, but now I'm finding that deep inside I'm shivering. I'm not able to really take this Rupa at all. Antaratma means what? Inside, deep inside, slowly, drishtvahitam pravyathita antaratma. And I'm really, literally, inside shaking out of fear. And dhritim na vindami. Dhritimna vindami shamancha Vishnu. I don't know what to think. I'm confused and I'm losing my peace of mind. Okay, Dhritimna vindani shamancha Vishnu means I'm really losing my mind and I really don't know that dhairya is gone. With what dhairya I asked you, with what kind of conviction and boldness and courage I said, Hey Bhagwan, show me your Vishwarupam. But now Dhritim na vindami, I have lost that courage. I do not have the dhairya anymore to see you in this form, and I am slowly losing the peace of my mind also. Again, now he talks about Danshta Karalani and the mouth of Bhagwan in his Vishwarupa. In the 25th verse, he says, Danshta Karalani chate mukhani drishtva kalanala sannibhani disho na jane na labhe cha sharma prasida devesha jagannivasa. Hey Jagannivasa, Deva, show some mercy on me, Prasida. Please show some mercy on me because Danshra Karalani Chate Mukhani Drishtva. Your mouth wide open with all these sharp canines and teeth after having seen that. Kala Nala Sannibhani. It is all as though Pralaya Agni is shining there in your mouth. It looks as if you are going to swallow the entire universe. Naturally, isn't it? The resolution of the universe, what we call as pralaya, is symbolically represented like this, where Arjuna is going to say in the further verses that I see everybody entering your mouth. What is the meaning of that? As a samharasthana, as a layasthana. I am myself manifesting. If I'm not only the Srishtikarta, I'm not only the Sthitikarta, I'm also the Layakarta. In me, I resolve the entire universe. It is as though I am swallowing the entire universe. And he says that Kalanala Sannibhani. It's as though you are the Kalagni. That's why in Rudra we say Trikagni Kalaya Kalagni Rudraya Nila Kantaya Mrityunjayaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Shriman Mahadevaya Namaha. So what is this Kalanala? Means Kalagni or Pralayagni. Pralaya Kalagni, it looks as if your mouth is nothing but Pralaya Kalagni and Dishona me jane. I have lost the sense of directions. I don't know which direction you are, which direction I'm facing. Doesn't it happen that way when we are in a deep forest? We don't know which is the direction, right? When we are in the middle of the sea where there is nothing else around us, we don't have the sense of direction. Here, what is happened? And never ending. There is no beginning, there is no middle, there is no end. Everywhere there is this Vishwarupa. And when Arjuna is there, how can he understand which is the direction, which is east, which is west, which how can he understand? So disho na jane na labhe cha sharma. I'm greatly disturbed. Na labhe cha sharma means I'm greatly disturbed. Prasida devesha jagannivasa. Please be gracious to me, O Lord. I'm not able to really take this. And now he says, what else I'm seeing here? He says, अमी च त्वां धृतराष्ट्रस्य पुत्राः सर्वे सहैवावनिपालसङ्घैः भीष्मो द्रोणसूतपुत्रस्तथासौ सहास्मदीयैरपि योद्धमुख्यैः. And not only that, I am seeing your mouth, open mouth, Vyatta Anana, with Kalagni, with Pralayagni, literally burning there, literally waiting to swallow, literally waiting for Samhara, literally waiting for Pralaya. I not only that I see who? Amicha Tvam Dhritarashtrasya Putraha. And Dhritarashtra's putra, that is the Dhartarashtras, I see them very, very fast entering into this mouth of yours. I'm seeing them. Okay. Though I am here waiting to fight the war, I can see them right in front of me. But hey, Krishna, I can see that they're already running towards your mouth and trying to get into that. Literally, you are almost about to swallow the Dhartarashtras, Dhritarashtrasya putras. Not only that, Sarve Sahaiva Avanipala Sanghaihi. Avanipalas means all the kings. Various kings from various kingdoms have come to fight this Mahabharata Yuddha. Many of them, most of them are on the side of Kauravas. And these Dhartarashtas I see with all the Avanipalas, with all the kings of the various kingdoms who are there to fight for Duryodhana. All of them, along with whom? Bhishmaha, Dronaha, Sutaputraha, Karnaha, Tatha asau saha asmadiyarapi. Even our own soldiers, my own people who are fighting on my side, asmadiyaha api yodha mukhaihi. All these yodhas who are there, this is an incomplete verse here, 26th verse, because he's only describing who are all the people there. So Amicha, all these Dhartarashtraha, Sarve Avanipalaha, Bhishma, Dronaha, Sutaputra, Tatha, Asau, Asmadiyai api, what are they doing? Vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti. So we have to take these two verses together. Okay, because the continuation of the 26th verse comes in the 27th verse. The first part of the 27th verse is the continuation of the 26th verse. So we'll read that now. Vaktrani te tvaramana vishanti danshra karalani bhayanakani केचिद् विलग्ना दशनान्तरेषु सन्दृश्यन्ते चूर्णितैरुत्तमाङ्गैः. So अमी च त्वां धृतराष्ट्रस्य पुत्राः सर्वे सहैव अवनिपालसङ्गैः भीष्म द्रोण सूतपुत्र तथा असौ सह अस्मदीयैरपि योधमुखैः मुख्यैः योधमुख्यैः द मुख्य योधास् वक्त्राणि ते त्वरमाणा विशन्ति. Urgently, in a hurry. Tvaramana means what? In a hurry. They're entering your mouth. I see all these people. Literally, they're running towards your mouth. And they're entering your mouth with what? Danshta karalani bhayanakani. That scary mouth of yours with all those scary teeth. I'm finding all these people entering into your mouth. And how are they? Kechit vilagna. Most of them are caught between your teeth and they're all disembodied. Some of them are headless, some of them are limbless. It is literally you have made them churna. Churna means what? Literally, your teeth have powdered them into pieces. Kechid vilagna. Vilagna means their bodies are all cut here and there. Dashantareshu. They're all literally, their limbs are caught in between your teeth. See what kind of a vision Arjuna is getting. He's describing it in this way. Dashanantareshu. Dashana antareshu means between the teeth. Dashanantareshu kechid vilagnaha. Most of them are completely disembodied and are stuck. Dashanantareshu sandrishyante churnitaihi uttamangaihi. Many of them, their heads are completely pulverized into a powder. Churnitaihi uttamangaihi. Uttamangaihi means the head portion. Their heads are all completely, pulverized into churnam, in powder. So my God, hey Bhagwan, I can see all this happening. It's literally as if you are the very Lord of destruction. I can see only the samhara in you. And how are these people literally entering your, mouth? Dashanantareshu, Kechit Vilagna, Sandrishyante. I can see them in this way. And how fast they are getting into your mouth. Arjuna is giving two examples here. In the 28th verse, he says, Yatha nadinam bahavombu vegaha samudrameva bhimukha dravanti tatha tavami naraloka viraha vishanti vaktranyabhivijwalanti. So what he's saying here, he's giving an example in this situation of fear also. Arjuna thinks of an example to explain to Krishna how I can see all these people, Avanipalas, all the Dhartarashtas, even my own Yuddha Mukhya, all the Yuddha Mukhyas who are there, how they're getting caught in between your teeth and what is happening. How fast are they coming? Yatha nadinam bahavoho ambuvegaha. Like rivers which are actually flowing so fast to reach the samudram. Samudrameva abhimukha dravanti. They are actually flowing very fast and going towards what? Ultimately, they are going towards the destruction, towards the samudra. Similarly, tatha tava ami naraloka viraha. All these viras, okay, Yodha Mukhyahi from my side, from Pandavas, people who are fighting on the side of Pandavas, and also the Dhartarashtras, Dhritarashtras, and all of them are Abhimukhi Bhavanti, Dravanti. They are literally flowing towards your mouth. Vaktrani Abhi Vijwalanti. They are actually going, literally approaching your burning mouth with all your dangerous looking teeth. And one more example he gives in the 29th verse. Yatha pradiptam jvalanam patangaha vishanti nashaya samriddha vegaha tathaiva nashaya vishanti lokaha tavapi vaktrani samriddha vegaha. Another example, again, Arjuna is having that much presence of mind, though he is so scared. That much presence of mind he is having to give examples. This is just symbolic, that's all. It doesn't mean that Arjuna is actually expressing it. It's just symbolic as to, without any control, every jiva and the whole universe, the manifest universe, moves towards pralaya, moves towards its resolution. And that is what is being said here in a symbolic way. And what is the other one, other symbolism he's giving Arjuna example? Yatha pradiptam jvalanam patangaha vishanti. The patangas, the moths, how they have an attraction towards this shining flame of light, and how fast they go there, enter into the flame and fall dead, burnt. Okay, bhai, nashaya, literally to destroy themselves. They're getting destroyed. They're approaching a flame. And similarly, tathaiva nashaya vishanti. In the similar way, I can see all these people who I talked about, vishanti, they're moving towards you. Where? Lokaha tava api vaktrani samriddha vegaha. Samriddha vega, all the lokas, all these people, and lokaha tava api, all these 14 lokas. I'm seeing that not only these people, but all the beings, all the lokas are literally as though with a great speed moving towards that mouth of yours, which is representing the Pralaya Agni. Here, Bhagavan is representing himself as Kala. Kala means what? As the one who is the resolver of this entire universe. So here, Bhagavan has to show himself with this Ugra Rupa as the Kala itself. Kalosmi, he says, next one. And in the 30th verse. And just 2 minutes we have, we'll just finish this 30th verse, where Arjuna says, Lelihyase grasamana samantat lokan samagran vadanairjvaladbhihi tejobhira purya jagat samagram bhasastavograha pratapanti Vishnu. What is the meaning of this? It looks as if you're enjoying eating this. Lelihyase. It's actually, like this sometimes, when we like something, we eat that with all ruchi. It looks, hey Krishna, it is looking as Lelihyase. It's almost as if you're licking all these things, all these lokas, with this fire of yours. And tejo bhi apurya jagat samagram. And this Teja is literally spreading across the entire Jagat, all the 14 lokas. And bhasastava, bhasaha tava ugraha pratapanti Vishnuho. And all these people are getting scorched and fearful about that Agni which is being shown by you as Kala Tattva. Therefore, here from the 22nd verse up till the 30th verse, we see Arjuna expressing his fear. So, from the 15th verse onwards, he was very happy to see all these things. But then, suddenly, when he sees Bhagwan as the very Kala, as the very Pralaya Agni, what happens to him? There is only fear, because Arjuna is not yet prepared to see the entire aspect of Vishwarupa of Bhagwan. And therefore, he says, it's, oh Lord, it's as though you're enjoying this meal of yours. It looks like that. And I'm greatly disturbed by that. So, what does he say to Krishna after this? We'll see in the next session. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्था शाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।